Ever notice how some people just seem to attract success?
Yeah.
Like it's an inside joke they're in on.
Yeah.
And when it comes to money, it's like they've got this secret playbook.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not always about outworking everyone else. Sometimes it's about how you're thinking about things, right? Approaching things differently.
Totally. We got this excerpt from a book, The Millionaire Mindset.
Oh, interesting.
And it's full of those light bulb moments,
Uh-huh.
about how folks who've built wealth, they just see things differently.
Right.
So, ready for a deep dive to unpack some of this?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
This is fascinating to me because it's not always about, like, were you born with a silver spoon or whatever, right?
Right. It really is fascinating. It's not about some magic touch or, like you said, being born into wealth. It's really about cultivating this mindset.
So it's almost like instead of a silver sprout, it's like they've got this golden outlook or something.
Yep.
So where do we even start with this? What's like the first principle?
I'd say it all begins with like having that growth orientation. You've heard that saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Sure. Yeah.
That right there, that's the heart of a growth mindset.
Yeah, it's that classic growth mindset versus fixed mindset thing.
Exactly.
And, this excerpt, it actually calls out Oprah.
Great example.
She's like the ultimate example of that, right?
Yeah.
Talk about a journey and resilience.
Precisely. And what's amazing about her story is, she didn't just overcome obstacles. She used those obstacles as fuel.
Like rocket fuel.
Right. To go from where she was, talk about a challenging upbringing, to build what she has, that's incredible. And, that really ties into the work of Carol Dweck.
Oh, yeah.
They mention her in this excerpt, too. Her research, and it's so foundational, found that people with a growth mindset, they really believe that their abilities, their talents, they're not fixed, that those can actually grow, evolve. So they don't shy away from challenges. They see them as like stepping stones to learn and to grow their skills.
Right. So instead of hitting a wall and being like, well, that's it, I'm done. They're like, all right, let's get the chisel out. Let's figure out how to get through this thing.
Exactly. It's that how can I mindset.
Yeah. And I can see how that'd be huge when it comes to like building wealth.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it means you're not afraid to take a chance to step outside that comfort zone.
Right.
Make a mistake or two, maybe a lot.
Or view those mistakes as tuition.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Expensive tuition in the school of life.
That's it. It's embracing the learning curve, even when it's not, the most fun thing in the world.
Yeah.
And that actually leads us perfectly to the next big thing in the excerpt, having that long-term vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're playing the long game, those little hiccups along the way, they don't seem so big anymore, right?
Precisely. And the excerpt, they actually use Warren Buffett.
Oh, yeah. Good example.
Talk about the king of patience.
Right. If you're going to use anyone for an example.
Yeah. When it comes to investing, he's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Famously held onto investments for years, sometimes decades. Didn't get distracted by every little, blip in the market. He was playing the long game. And this isn't even just about, like, money and investments. Yeah. This applies to everything we do.
It's about delaying that gratification, right? Like, okay, am I going to have it right now, but down the road?
Exactly. That delayed gratification is huge.
Something even bigger and better is coming. But I'll be honest, that is way easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in this day and age, right? Everything's instant.
Exactly.
So that's the real challenge, isn't it? And it's something, we should all be asking ourselves.
Yeah.
What are those long-term goals that you're really, really working towards? And are there any smaller, like, wins that you might be prioritizing instead? Maybe instead of blowing that bonus check right away, you take a little bit of it and think about that long-term investment, just like Buffett would.
Okay, now that is a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got this growth mindset. We're thinking long-term.
Yeah.
It's starting to come together, this millionaire mindset. But I have a feeling it goes beyond just, like, positive thinking, right?
You're right. It takes a little more than just, rainbows and sunshine. This next principle, it might seem counterintuitive at first, but those who are really successful, they're usually the ones who are, and get ready for it. They're willing to embrace risk. Well, they're not afraid to step outside of that comfort zone.
And for this one, I think they used Richard Branson as an example in the excerpt.
Oh, perfect example.
Talk about bold moves.
Exactly. The Virgin Group. Come on, the guy thinks big. But, and this is key, it's not about just, throwing caution to the wind. It's about calculated risks. They're not just blindly jumping into things.
Okay, so how do you know if it's a good risk or not?
Well, this book It actually talked about this study from the Harvard Business Review.
Oh, wow.
And the study found that those who find success, they don't view setbacks as failures the way most of us do.
Interesting.
They see them as learning opportunities.
So it's not about avoiding failure altogether. It's changing how you see those failures.
Exactly.
Seeing those as like stepping stones rather than like, that's it, game over.
You got it. Resilience, adaptability, using those experiences to build something even better.
All right, so we've got this growth mindset. We're thinking long-term, and we're even getting comfortable with this idea of risk.
That's right.
This millionaire mindset, it's sounding more and more like an action hero every minute.
Yeah.
What else did this excerpt say about how they operate? So we've got this growth mindset going.
Yeah.
We're thinking long-term.
Right.
And we're even getting okay with this whole risk thing.
It's true.
This millionaire mindset.
Yeah.
It's starting to sound like a superhero or something.
I like it.
What else did this excerpt unpack about how these folks tick?
Well, we can't talk about success without talking about learning, can we? This really stuck with me.
Yeah.
Apparently, a whopping 73% of millionaires, they make it a habit to read at least one book a month.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they're not all out there just lounging on yachts.
More like absorbing knowledge on the high seas.
Exactly.
Didn't they mention Bill Gates in this?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he's a huge reader, right?
Oh, yeah. He's always going on about how important it is to never stop learning. And this stat just goes to show you it's not a coincidence. It's like this thirst for knowledge. It's a common thread for people who've built success.
They're always looking to level up in a way.
Yes. Whether it's through books or podcasts like this one, or just being around people who challenge them. You know what I mean?
It's like that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
It's a good one.
And speaking of surrounding yourself with brilliant people, the excerpt goes into networking next, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like how important connections are.
Huge. And they actually talk about Barbara Corcoran. Remember her, the real estate mogul?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She's super open about how much of her success she owes to her network, like building those strong relationships throughout her career.
It's so true, though, isn't it? Like, it's not always just about what you know. It's who you know.
Absolutely. Or even more importantly,
What's that?
who knows you?
Oh, that's good.
Right. And what you bring to the table.
Totally. And it's not just some catchy phrase either.
No, it's not.
What's the excerpt say?
Well, they actually cite this study from the Journal of Business Research.
Yeah.
And the study found that your social capital, so basically the value you get from your network,
Right.
it plays a massive role when it comes to finding financial success.
Interesting.
It's all about building those genuine connections, fostering relationships that can lead to new opportunities.
So it's like they say quality over quantity.
Exactly.
It's about building that inner circle,
Yes.
a real support system,
Yeah.
not just collecting business cards.
I like how you put that. So we've got this drive to keep learning. We've got the power of connections. What's the last piece of this millionaire mindset puzzle?
Lay it on me.
All right, so this one might seem obvious.
Okay.
Maybe even a little too obvious.
Right.
But it's one that a lot of people miss.
I'm intrigued. What is it?
Financial literacy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
the excerpt, it really hammers home how important it is to understand how money actually works.
Yeah.
Not just making it,
Right.
but like managing it, how to invest it, make it work for you.
Oh, I totally see that.
Yeah.
Like you could be raking in tons of money, but if you don't know what to do with it.
It's not going to do you much good.
Exactly. It's like that saying you can lead a horse to water.
But you can't make it drink.
Exactly.
Although in this case, it's more like you can give someone a pile of money.
But you can't make them financially savvy.
There you go.
And didn't they bring up Suze Orman for this one?
Of course. She's like the queen of personal finance, right?
Totally. And she's all about financial education.
Yeah.
Making sure everyone, no matter where they come from,
Yes.
understand the basics of managing money.
She's been preaching that gospel for years. And you know what?
What's that?
It's not enough to just earn a good living. You have to know what to do with it. The excerpt even talked about this study.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by the National Endowment for Financial Education.
Okay.
And they found a direct link between being financially literate and building wealth.
Interesting. Makes you think, are you as financially savvy as you could be? So much good stuff in this excerpt.
Right?
It's like we opened this treasure chest of millionaire mindset secrets. From how important it is to embrace growth to like really knowing your way around a balance sheet.
It is a lot to take in.
It really is. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, to be honest. Where do we even start with putting all of this into practice?
Well, I don't think it's about doing everything at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you don't have to turn your life upside down overnight.
right.
Think of this excerpt more like a buffet than a to-do list, if that makes sense.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so less millionaire makeover and more, let's add a little something to my plate.
Exactly.
I can do that.
The point is to take these principles and make them your own, you know?
Yeah.
See what works for you.
Yeah, it's not about being a carbon copy of Richard Branson or whoever.
Exactly. It's about figuring out what this millionaire mindset looks like for you.
So no need to start picking out a yacht just yet.
Unless that's your thing.
True, true.
Yeah.
But maybe I can at least start adopting some of these mindsets and habits.
Now you're getting it. Because at the end of the day, building this mindset isn't about the number in your bank account.
It's bigger than that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about cultivating this way of thinking, these habits that empower you to really define what success means to you.
So it's about recognizing that real wealth, it's more than just dollars and cents. It's that personal growth.
Yeah.
It's being resilient.
Yeah.
It's having those strong relationships around you, that thirst for knowledge, and having your finances in order.
You nailed it. And you know what?
That's that.
This excerpt, it gave us like all these principles.
Right.
But the real magic.
Yeah.
The real magic happens when we figure out how are you going to apply all this to your own life?
Yeah. So this is where we take it off the page and put it into action.
You got it. So here's something to think about. If you had to choose just one of these millionaire mindset principles to really zero in on this week, which one would it be? And how can you start living that principle in your own way?
So much to think about.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep those millionaire mindsets churning.